Tune into the podcast, learn a new thing. Channeling nature, let the knowledge ring. With roots that run deep, wisdom from soul. Permaculture dream, let the ideas unfold. I'm grooving with the truth, truth, truth. Feeling nature's groove, groove, groove. Who's got the answers? All we need to do. Listen to the earth, they got us through. Plant the seeds of change, watch the world spin. From the smallest sprout to harmony begin. In the cycle of life, where the magic's alive. Tune into the beat.
Alrighty. Welcome to episode 288 of the Permaculture Pimpcast, where PIMP stands for Permaculture is my passion. The only pimpcast on planet Earth where we discuss permaculture, preparedness, and practical living. How you doing, son?
Pretty good, Dad. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I want to thank everybody out there in the chat right now. If you're coming in right now, please hit that thumbs up. It tells them to go ahead and start suppressing us like they always do. And folks, as always, look, I know people are asking me, well, why don't you put it on X? Look, we've tried over and over and over and over again, and they keep playing games. I'm paying for an X account, which is at, by the way, y'all, I've been dropping some tactical nukes in there today. It's at Permapastures. If you want to go check us out on X. So that's where, you know, when I get some random thoughts or thoughts I think are, you know, decent or worth saying, you know, I'm going to put them on X, and they'll at least let me post there. I can put up shorts and stuff like that, but they will not. I mean, I've gone through everybody you can possibly go through at X besides Elon Musk himself, and it is not the free platform everybody tells you it is. I'll come to that a little bit later. This episode, as always, brought to you by Hickory Ridge Soap from twooldcrowshomestead.com.
Turn that simp into a pimp.
Son, your timing is way off.
What? It's on this end, it seems like right on time.
No, man. Yeah, well, I don't know if it can't be that much of a delay. Man, I've talked to people in South Africa, man, that could hear it sooner than that.
I don't know what's going on there.
Oh, well, maybe it's just par for the course. Anyway, if you want to tip a pimp, you can do it at the Living Soil Foundation. It's the foundation we started to clean up Western North Carolina. And folks, we are definitely at it right now. I'm going to be talking about that here in a little bit. And I want to thank you all for your donations. And all the money is going exactly where we said it is. And we're going to be spending a lot here before too long because, you know, things are starting to move now that things are starting to warm up, and you know, we're not getting hit by cold fronts and all the other stuff that they manufactured. Well, anyway, well, how's things on your end, son? How's my grandbaby?
Good. She's doing good. She's taking another little nap today, but it's been nice out, so we spent quite a bit of time outside. She helps me with the chickens in the backyard, and then she has a tree, SWING, up in the front. Now, the reason I spelled it is because if she hears that word, she's going to lose her mind until we start SWING. So, yeah, she's doing good. She's all just right. A cute little baby.
Yeah, she is a little cutie. Give her a kiss from Grandpa. Anyway, I want to thank everybody out there. Oh, thanks a lot for the $20, Cody. Hey, I want to thank everybody coming in right now. Like I said, if you're just getting in late, please hit that thumbs up. I want to give a shout out to Renewed Homestead for being our moderators tonight. And don't start no SH, and there won't be no IT. So, yeah.
Have there been problems?
Yeah, it's like every time, whenever they know Denise is not going to be here. And then, you know, whenever, you know, they got something else. I mean, they're farmers too, so they're busy. And every time you turn around, every single time, it's like all these clowns. Oh, she ain't here tonight. Let's start tripping. And so, you know, I got a little bit of heat. One of them got me ticked off the other day, and I told him he'd never be half the man his mama was. So people were writing some nasty, oh, that's not a very nice thing to say. Well, you know what? Look, if you get in here insulting people, look, I got a PhD in this sort of thing. So if you get in here acting stupid, I'm going to embarrass you. But I'm pretty sure Denise will get to you before I do. But yeah, somebody said, well, how old is she now? She's 1.
Yep, she's 1 until she's 2. We don't play that month stuff. She was months until she was 1, and now she's 1 until she's 2. She's about half, like a third of the way to 2.
Yeah, that's how I roll. I mean, your mom, man, when you were little, it was like he's 27. I'm like, what? I mean, he's 2. He's 1 until he's 2. And anyway, she's a little sweetie.
Yeah.
Yeah. Emily sent this little picture thing where they can upload pictures in it. And yeah, I'm like killing half the day because every time I walk past it, I'm sitting there watching her doing something cute, whether she's got little bubbles on her or something like that, or she's in the swing, or or the dog's licking her right in her face.
Yep.
And
she's just cracking up about it.
Yeah.
And also, so like iPhone, if you have an iPhone, they'll do this thing where it's called like memories, and they'll like compile. It's kind of creepy that they're recognizing people.
Yeah.
But they'll compile photos, and they'll play this like sad music in the background. And like I'm trying to record a YouTube video, and then all of a sudden I get this memories thing, and I see pictures of the little baby as she was like just a super tiny little baby all the way up till right now. It's got me like about to cry right before I film a video.
Like, man, yeah, but it is creepy, man. But it's going to get creepier as we get close to sentient computers, y'all. And if you think this thing is way down the road, I got news for you. It's around the corner. And people like Mike Adams are even saying, man, he thinks it might even happen this year. So go back to the Deagle report, and maybe that's how we hit 100 million in America. But I'm not going to start off all gloom and doom. Don't worry, I'll get to it. So let's start with the farm news right off the bat. So one of the things I'm doing is I'm changing all the fixtures. Well, where I have to, I'm changing all the fixtures around here to accommodate the light bulbs I was telling y'all about. Now, keep in mind, ever since Obama, I want to say it was 08, ever since Obama mandated that we could only have LED fixtures, or we had to get rid of incandescent bulbs, folks, that was way more sinister than you know. And look, I'm beyond caring if anybody calls me a conspiracy theorist. Look, I got almost 30 years as a journeyman electrician. I know my craft. I know what I'm doing. And I know more about this stuff than most. And look, the bottom line is, I know I kind of teased it out last week, but I'll just give you a little bit more and I'll keep adding to it. So I'm basically replacing all of the LED bulbs, which basically see only in the narrow band of a blue spectrum, okay? What I'm looking for are full spectrum bulbs. And if you check out the work of, once again, Dr. Jack Cruz, also Dr. Alexis Cowan, you look at her work, and folks, it'll blow your mind. And this is not esoteric stuff. I mean, it's out there for everybody. They intentionally keep you in that blue phase. Think about it. When nighttime rolls around and you got a blue light on, the only time you're getting that blue light, remember, from the sun is when it's at its highest peak, usually at around noon. That's when the blue light is highest. So think about it. In the natural circadian rhythm of your body, as the sun's starting to set, as it's going down or away, anyway, as the sun's moving away from you, and let's say it's going to turn to night, well, you're moving through that range as the sun's going. Well, it doesn't stay in the blue spectrum. So that's why if you have incandescent light bulbs in your house, you're at least getting a full spectrum, whether it's in the morning, the evening, night, whatever. But the cool thing about these, if you can take incandescents and put them on a dimmer, is that you can mimic, to a certain extent, you can lower the radiance of those bulbs down to where it kind of mimics where the sun would be. So you can actually have it low enough in your house. And I'm telling y'all, it makes all the difference in the world. And it's making a big difference in my sleep. Do you
have a link for that, Dan? Do you have a link to the website?
Well, one of the, I don't have a link for the website. You can go ahead and check out, like I said, Dr. Alexis Cowan, or check out Jack Cruz. But as far as the bulbs, you can go to Chromalux, and Nira, N-I-R-A is the other. Nira, and they're not cheap, but these bulbs last 45 years. So it's a pretty good investment. So anyways, some of these, ceiling fans that have the narrow candelabra bulbs in there, I got to take the whole doggone fan down unless you want to change out the light kit. Well, these fans are old anyway. So I'm like, okay, I got to take those down, and I'm putting everything on a dimmer. So when I'm in a place like I am right now, where I got studio lights in here, and of course I got this behind me, got to have the sign here, I mean, when I got these things in here, I'm being irradiated, but I'm mitigating it to a certain extent by wearing these glasses, but my skin is still absorbing it, but I'm also grounded out. And that's also why we're starting the program a little bit earlier. So sorry to belabor that, but that's one of the big things we're doing around here. So I'm changing all the switches out, trying to get out here to do some pruning. But I mean, folks, I am like 2 months behind on pruning, but I'm going to hopefully get it done. That's one of the things that's just absolutely driving me nuts. Well, I did a front porch talk that I'm not going to release. I know those seem to be the more popular of the videos I do, but I don't do it for popularity. Folks, I got on there and lost my mind. I got out here, son, I ain't gonna lie. I mean, it may have been like somewhat blue skies out there, but man, I walked out here. It was like perfectly blue. And I was like, okay, cool. I'm gonna take off my shirt and go out here, do a little bit of rebounding, do some grounding. Man, I kid you not. I go back in the house, come back out, and man, they have sprayed up this sky like nothing else, like nothing I've ever seen before.
Same here. Same here. In fact, we've had that fog the past couple of days, where it smells like burnt plastic and stuff like that.
Okay, well, you definitely need to be taking that stuff, that foreign protein cleanse from Dr. I'm going to have him on the show actually, Dr. Artis. It's been making all the difference in the world with me and your mom. Everybody's been getting sick and we haven't. And part of it is probably got to do with that. Also, part of it has to do with some of the other strategies we're putting into place. So, and that's part of why I'm doing the whole thing with folks. They are doing everything they can to murder us. Does that sound hyperbolic? I don't think it is one bit. I don't think it is one bit. Whether it's this garbage you're dumping from the sky, whether it's the things they're mandating people to put in their bodies, whether it's, hey, go off and fight this war, whatever the case may be, I'm doing everything I can to make myself a little bit more difficult to kill. And I know you're doing the same, son. So so anyway, I got out here, recorded a front porch talk, and your mom's like, you sure you ought to do that right now? I said, no, man, I'm getting this off my chest. So I got out there, man. I acted a fool. I'm in there, man. I'm going on about everything that I can't stand in this world right now. And well, there's a happier side to this. I'm going on about everything I can't stand. Man, I even talked about trad wives on YouTube. I mean, Beyonce, people arguing over whether Beyonce should have got country music, whatever of the year, Kanye West's wife walking in naked. I'm sitting here going on about this stuff and I'm like, okay, I played it back. I played about the first 2 minutes of the 20 minutes I did. And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm not going to be able to use this. And then all of a sudden, folks, this is a lesson to a lot of folks out there that may be going through. When you look up and you're getting frustrated at what you're seeing or the things going on around you, I honestly just literally gave it to the Lord. I went out there and I got on my knees and honestly, I jumped on that trampoline for a good another 20 minutes and just pouring my heart out to the Lord, like, Lord, will you please put an end to this stuff that's going on right now, whether it's these kids that are being trafficked or whether it's all this other garbage going on, where no matter how hard I try, and I'm sitting here having this existential moment, son, where I'm thinking like, man, do I even want to do this anymore? Because it's not like, I can make a lot of money doing other things. Okay. Things I already know how to do. There's no learning curve. Okay. I could, go out tomorrow, put on my tools as a contractor and go make a killing, especially right now after hurricane.
Absolutely.
I could absolutely do that. And I was like, you know what? I was seriously thinking about just deep sixing this whole thing because it's like, you just don't feel like you're seeing any fruit. You don't seem like it doesn't feel like I'm an activist. Okay. And as I always say, folks, you're either an activist or an inactivist. Either way you're involved. And I sat here, did that video, and I just poured my heart out to the Lord. And I was like, okay, after it was all said and done, man, I did a 180 on my attitude. And sure enough, the sun broke through as I was going through there. So it was, yeah. So it's these frustrations because I'm like, man, it's like we're being suppressed no matter the platform. Elon Musk, everybody's kissing his butt, and this guy oh, it's such a free platform, but you won't let me go live over there because you know that if people hear what I'm saying, it might just wake up some people. So, yeah, it's sorry to monologue so long, man. How's everything going on your end? What was your
No,
farm?
you're good, Dad. Hey, real quick on that trafficking comment earlier. If anybody is in North Carolina and they have any information on any kind of trafficking that's going on, I'd appreciate it if you send me an email at the permacultureconsultant@gmail.com. The permacultureconsultant@gmail.com. Anybody has any kind of information or tips or anything like that, send it that way. I'm not going to go into any more detail than that, but everything here at the farm is pretty cool. Yesterday, there was the Texas Ag extension over in Mount Pleasant was giving away free trees. So I got like 20 some free trees from them.
Awesome.
And they're all oaks, like different varieties of oaks. There's bald cypress, and then like I have like 4 or 5 pecans now too. So I'm going to be filming a video on how to plant. The friction hitch said he didn't know how to plant a tree earlier, so stay tuned. I'll show you. But yeah, that's what I'm going to be doing is planting a tree here pretty soon. My wife Emily has some apothecary class tonight. There's actually a local. I feel bad for the lady, but she picked decab to open up this. It's called the Pharmacy Ranch, spelled FARM, like the pharmacy. And yeah, she picked decab of all places to set up shop. So I feel bad for the lady, but she seems awesome. She comes up with a few different salves that June, my daughter, uses all the time. Speaking of which, I'm waiting for her to go on and show up because Emily's got to drop her off for that class. I got the chicken truck on steroids going. Just got the fence hot recently, but just trying to produce as much compost as possible. Oh, here's the baby.
Oh,
Let me grab her real quick.
Baby. I hear my little grandbaby. Oh yeah. Hey y'all, you're about to get your cuteness fix.
Oh,
I'm about to get mine too. And don't be shocked if your mom comes bursting through this door right now. Oh, let's see my little grandbaby. Oh, what a little sweetie.
She's got her little snack container. She's got snacks with her, which is filled with something y'all sent. It is.
Yeah, y'all. We yep. So yep, those are all strawberries from Permapastures Farm she's eating. And of course they're freeze dried. You missed your grandpa? Oh, you can't hear me.
Oh yeah, she can't hear you right now, but you can probably hear her whenever she's making noises.
Well, she just derailed the whole dog
office. Yeah, I had to baby proof the office so she can crawl around and all that type of stuff. But yeah, she's got her little container full of strawberries. She's going to be pretty well content.
Yeah, well, we're gonna have to send her some more, and yeah, so we'll freeze dry some more stuff and send them out to her. So yeah, that's what we got to do to keep this grandbaby safe. Well, I'll jump back and so one of the other big things we're doing on the as far as the Living Soil Foundation, folks, we're getting to the point where look, we would have preferred to put in trees back in probably November around here, but it just didn't work out that way. I mean, and things have been a mess. So here we are now, and we're going to wind up putting in trees at the time of year I really don't want to do it, and that's probably going to be at the very beginning of spring. But the cool thing is that the owners over there, they're really taking the lead on this as far as really stepping up and really trying to come up with a design that they love. I kind of threw some ideas out there, but they did their own thing. It's not quite the way I would do it, but I mean, it's what they're doing is perfectly sound. And of course they have 2 small children. So, there is a sense of urgency out there. So Michelle and I went out yesterday and put out more extract, and we're hoping to get Dr. Will back on lock to do the testing probably here in another couple of weeks and make sure and see if we hit the finish line. Because folks, if we hit the finish line already, this is paradigm changing for this whole place because there's toxicity everywhere. They think they're going to run everybody out. And if we can prove that we can clean this stuff up in record time, which I know we can, all these big moneyed interests that think they're going to roll in here and take these old boys' land, or, some of these ladies and guys that have been on this land for going on 7, 8 generations or whatever, you think you're just going to roll in here and take it because it's too toxic. Well, how about that? We got an open source method that, we'll put out there for everybody to have. And these people will be able to tell everybody to go pound sand. I will train them. I will train other trainers. I will train other people to know how to do this stuff. So that's exactly the plan, is not in any way to profit, but completely to put up a giant, man, I got to mind my mouth, man. I'm thinking my grandbaby can hear everything I'm saying. So
No, she can't hear.
tell everybody to pound sand, boy. There ain't no telling what you might wind up saying. So basically, to tell all these big moneyed interests that coming in, they're coming in to go pound sand. So that's exactly. So we got trees. They're being ordered right now, and we're going to be getting those through the Farm Connection. By the way, folks, Farm Connection, they will give you 10% off with promo code PERMA. They have been a massive blessing to this project. I mean, they've donated so many things as far as seeds and trees and everything else. And so, folks, if you got business you would love to give them, they will ship the stuff, and they'll have bare roots in here before long. But you can knock 10% off the price if you put in PERMA. And like I said, they're one of the many businesses around here that have been rocking for the love. I mean, basically giving away stuff to their own detriment. So if you can give them some support, man, please do. Like I said, 10% off with promo code PERMA, or discount code PERMA will get you 10% off. So so definitely reach out to them if you have any needs. Go to their website, and like I said, they do ship. If you call up Allison, I'm sure, or Ian, either one of them or one of their employees will probably get you pretty squared away. So,
hey, New York redneck, you were saying like your ex and your son live in Asheville and you want to grow a big garden for them. Shoot me an email at the permacultureconsultant@gmail.com. Me and, hey, y'all, I actually have an apprentice. He doesn't want to be on camera or anything like that, but me and my apprentice will be driving through Asheville at the end of February. So there's a chance we might be able to swing by and help out in any way we can. But yeah, shoot me an email at the permacultureconsultant@gmail.com.
Hey, thanks a lot for being on top of this. Oh, sorry about that. I didn't mean to step on you. Thanks a lot for being on top of this stuff, Denise. Man, she's like hot with this stuff. Man, my 2-finger typing self, boy, I'd have had it in 5 minutes from now. But man, she's like on top of it, like she's reading my mind here. Folks, I ain't gonna lie. With all the stuff that's going on around here, I mean, so your Uncle Jack, William, he sends me these pictures. He got back from Italy, and I can't even tell you how many pictures he sent. And, he said he was eating full time. Now he's got 2 full knee replacements over there. And every single picture he sent, there was not, and that's the first thing he said, there is not a single chemtrail in the sky over there. And then, he's telling me, not him, but another person I know down in El Salvador, no chemtrails. And I'm like, hold on, what are we got this mysterious fog everywhere. We got chemtrails everywhere, and you can't get nobody to wake up. I mean, by and large, nobody seems to care. And, here in these other countries, I'm like, okay, if you look on the Freedom Index, last time I looked, and it might've been a decade ago, America was number 11 on that list. I'd like to see where we are right now, because you know what? They're not spraying this crap in certain places in Mexico. They're not spraying it in certain South American countries. And clearly they're not spraying it over in Italy, because he's just spent 3 weeks over there. Didn't see a single chemtrail. Not to say it's not happening, but I'm just saying, I mean, it's got me and your mom seriously thinking, man, do we need to roll out of here? I mean, do we need to go to another country? I mean, because this is just, I mean, this is getting ridiculous. I mean, it is absolutely beyond ridiculous. But what gets me more than anything, what's absolutely driving me crazy, is that no matter how much you tell somebody, it's like they can't. I'm like, okay, there's a fog everywhere, and then a bunch of people get sick. You don't see the correlation here.
Yeah. Dad, I don't know that moving to a different country is going to solve the problem, though. Because it seems like this is a cyclical type thing, and just like the next generation. Well, I mean, of course, don't mute me, sweetie. It's a cyclical type thing, and I wonder if each country is going to eventually like have its heyday, and then it's going to eventually crash. And then if that's the case, then you're stuck like moving to different. I think the solution is just to get a doggone island. Don't build any weird buildings on there so nobody gets a bad idea, and then just have your own little country on your island. I think that's the solution.
Well, or go to a place where they don't mind, because you got Tennessee, for example, that is banned chemtrails. Well, that band only works for so high, and then there's a certain altitude that's above that they don't have control over. So that's where they're spraying at. So you know what? Maybe go to a country where they don't mind using Stinger missiles to shoot down whatever's flying above, spraying stuff over everybody's home. I mean, that's why I said, I mean, I'm like, hey, Elon Musk, I wrote on X today at Permapastures. I'm like, hey, Elon Musk, you think you can use Doge to find out who's paying for these chemtrails? And you know, we'll just see where that goes. Like I said, I was killing it on X today, so I didn't have any extra time. It's just I go in these spurts where like on YouTube, you'll see that I haven't had a regular video in a while just because we've been so doggone busy. But the cool thing about something like an X or a Facebook or some of these other platforms is that when I have a thought, I can immediately put it up and just say, okay, here you go, deal with it. Because I'll click and drop, and I ain't going to sit here and argue with anybody. So, you know, I'll just put it up and roll. So, like I said, I was pretty doggone active on X today. So, yeah, you guys might want to go check some of that out, because if you live in Western North Carolina, you might look at that fire map. You might look at the fire map, and I'll cover that in the main topic here, but you might want to look at that fire map in North Carolina and see if it resembles anything else. But like I said, I'll come to that in a minute. Anyway, if you want one of these wave watches, like this little beauty I got on right here, this one here it's the bigger version. Looks like I'm calling in artillery somewhere, but if you want one of them, go to Wave Watch, WAV. It's got all those frequencies in there that I use all the time. I love the self-edgio frequencies, and you know, and then of course the detox. There's detox frequencies in here that I use, especially when I'm doing certain detox. It's like my little grandbaby's busy.
Well, yeah, oh yeah, she's grabbing everything on the desk. But also, whenever you would have that wave watch on and you'd hold her, she'd fall asleep every time.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like a good, honest, like barometer, because she doesn't, you know, there's no placebo effect with her. There's no like preconceived notions. She's just chilling, and then all of a sudden she gets sleepy and falls asleep.
Yeah, I put the self-edgio tones on whenever I was holding her. I put the self-edgio tones on her, and you know, she would just go out. So it was just the cutest little thing. Of course, her falling asleep on grandpa. Anyway, if you want one, Billy 100 will get you $100 off it. I think they may even still have that. They got a additional discount going on right now, I think. But anyway, if you want one, you'll probably see it in all the things I'm wearing, because I don't leave home without it for the most part these days. All right, so coming up March 18th through the 22nd, check this out. Shalom Temple, they got a 5-day immersion event, but they've actually opened it up. They've opened it up to where they're going to have like day passes. So you want to go to the website and go check them out. And folks, this is one of those things. This is why I'm saying you might want to get your preparedness on lock, because the powers that shouldn't be are screwing with them as bad as they are with us and with all the other people out here that are doing everything they possibly can to keep this information stifled. And what I mean is, they don't want you to know. Like I said, consider Barbara O'Neill. I had her on here for an interview, and YouTube took it down. Barbara O'Neill. Yeah. I mean, man, I've had some people on here that have said some pretty wild stuff, man. They never took anything down. But Barbara O'Neill, and then Jonathan Otto, and you want to look at what these people, I mean, they're going to both be at this event. So, folks, you want to be doing your research and finding out what are they talking about that the powers that shouldn't be don't want you to hear. You want to definitely check this stuff out, because it is it's getting crazy. And I honestly wonder if the next big thing, the next big shoe that it's about to drop, is probably going to be something of a health nature. So, powers that shouldn't be don't want you to know about it. Well, I'm doing everything I can to find out what I can and then convey it to all of you. And all the little biohacks that I'm doing, like I said, light bulbs. I mean, you're thinking, how important could that be? Well, it was important enough. Keep in mind, y'all, this is my wheelhouse. This is how I made my career for a long, long time as an electrician, okay? And as an industrial electrician, okay? Now, think about this. I'm just going to hit this one point real quick. Of all the energy usage in your house and the ways in which you could save money, okay, your biggest, son, why don't you tell everybody what's the biggest drain on your electric bill? And it ain't the light bulbs in most houses.
Yeah, it's anytime you have to change temperature. So it's either going to be your heating and cooling, or like anything that is going to change the temperature is going to be the biggest draw on your electricity. So air conditioning for one, heating or cooling, it's both going to be a huge draw unless you're doing heating via like gas or wood stove or something like that. But also like electric ovens. That's another one. Like if you bake a lot, that's another one that's going to raise the electricity.
Yeah, but they didn't put mandates on those. They put them on
Nope.
light bulbs, which move the needle as little. I mean, even incandescent light bulbs, like I said, might account for maybe 1 or 2% of your energy usage. And they did it on purpose, folks. They did it to keep you sick. If you doubt me, check out the work of Dr. Jack Cruz, and you're going to find out exactly what I'm talking about. And then once you make the little bit of changes, the little changes that he recommends, you're going to realize how those little changes make big moves in your body and how you sleep. It's going to make all the difference in the world. I mean, and honestly, one of the biggest culprits right here, there's a picture of my grandbaby right there. One of the biggest culprits is your phones and using them at night, folks. I mean, there's a lot of people that try to get a hold of me during the day, and I'm basically all day, I turn this thing on incrementally, maybe 10, 15 minutes at a time. And then trust me, y'all, I am practicing what I preach. And I'm keeping this thing either in red mode or I turn it off completely and it's in airplane mode and I'm listening to a podcast. I turn it on long enough to download some stuff, maybe go drop something on X that's going to tick everybody off. And then it's back in airplane mode and turning the Wi-Fi off. I mean, it's stuff like that. I'm absolutely doing it because, you know, I'm realizing the deleterious effects of all these things. So anyway,
Yeah.
if you want,
For those of you that are like complaining that it's hard to get a hold of dad and stuff like that, hey, it's hard enough for me to get a hold of dad, and he's my dad. So like he's really doing what he's saying. He really is not attached to his phone.
no, I'm honestly I'm told your mom, honestly, I'm to the point where I'm about ready to get a landline up in here. And, you know, I'm just about to go old school on this stuff. I mean, I know that the world keeps, you know, moving on in this direction, but man, I'm just not willing to go with it. I was just talking to the guy yesterday when I was out there spraying that extract on the project that I'm like, man, I mean, I got to find some other solutions. Like I'm working with these folks from those phones where they can't track you. Okay.
Is it light phone?
It's called Above Phone. Yep.
Oh.
I'm working with them right now. I'm trying out one of their phones and I'm trying to see, okay, you know, is this thing, you know, is the learning curve, first of all, simple, because I got too much on my plate to sit here and spend hours trying to figure something out. So I'm literally trying to decouple from all of this stuff. And if I do it, it is incremental. I mean, 15 minutes and then bam, I'm done with it. Put it down. And then it sucks at first. And that tells you also the nature of the addiction, because to a certain extent, you are addicted to it. You know, you lose your wallet or your phone, your heart starts pounding and you're like, oh shoot, where is everything? And it shows you the unhealthy nature, the abuse that we have with these things. It was the same thing I, you know, discovered with coffee, because I'm titrating my coffee down to where I'm going to get rid of it. I'm like down to where like I'm down to a swallow of coffee a day. So folks, I'm not kidding about this stuff.
Hold on. What's the point?
Well, I'm because if you just go cold turkey when you drink coffee as strong as your mom makes it, you go cold turkey on that stuff, you start getting headaches and stuff. So that's why I kind of titrated it down, and then maybe I'll go to decaf or something like that. But there was a guy that made all the sense in the world to me, where I don't want to be addicted to anything, whether it's a phone, the app, or whatever the case may be, where the guy, your mom sent me this thing saying, hey, you know, you're this thing with coffee and how you don't feel well when you drink it. I'm like, yeah. So I listened to it, and the guy says, you know what? Here's how you know that coffee is an addiction. He says, when's the last time you ever ordered decaf? Or would you drink decaf? And I was like, dude, you just said it all right there. This stuff owns me. Okay, I'm flipping the tables around now. So I'm getting rid of the coffee, and I'm already feeling better. I'm not having anywhere near the anxiety, and my sleep is getting even better and better and better and better. So folks, I'm definitely putting this stuff to practice. But if you want to find out how you can do this stuff, like I said, Shalom Temple's got that 5-day immersion event. And then May 2nd through the 4th, mountainreadiness.com has got their thing going on. And folks, you're going to have everybody from special operators, you name it, all the way around the board. And it is going to be a fantastic event. It's not going to get anywhere near the publicity as like Homesteaders of America, but I'm telling you what, if you are legitimately in this farming, homestead, permaculture, preparedness space, if you're anywhere in there, I promise you, this is 20 times the event than that will ever be.
Oh yeah, it's an awesome event, and what's cool about it is that it's small enough so where like you don't feel like you're missing out on any information.
That's
Like
right.
if you have a question about a topic, you have the opportunity to go and ask that question either like during the class or even after the class because it's small and intimate. And yeah, it's almost like as a participant and as like somebody who goes there to the festival, it's almost a relief that it's not some big like overgrown festival.
Well, what I love also, son, is that they don't have the same tired stuff that's at every single festival. It's like, okay, if you've been to one, you've been to all of them for the most part. I mean, I know I'm casting a wide net here, but okay, so you're going to have chicken processing, and then somebody's going to bring in a dead pig, and they're going to show you how. I mean, look, if it's already dead, man, you missed the most important part, as you well know. If you don't know how to dispatch gut and skin or scald, then you don't know anything about processing. And so, you know, it's always the same sort of thing, but man, they gotta, I mean, I don't care where you are in that continuum, y'all. I don't care how long you've been doing this. I guarantee. I mean, they got like Green Berets from Vietnam that are showing you how to do tracking. They got, I mean, you name it. This is why, I mean, this is going to be the festival. I mean, I thoroughly enjoy going there. And Shane's going to be there with that food truck. So, you know, I ain't going, I'm not going to be there.
It's worth going just for that.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does in that food truck, but it's perfect. Whatever it is right.
Even the baby said, yep. She gave me an amen. So that's going to be May 2nd through the 4th. Hey, and also y'all, Redemption Shield, 10% off with promo code PERMA. That's where I'm grounded right now. That's how I mitigate all these crazy things going on around me, is that I'm really trying to stay grounded. I mean, Denise could tell you in the chat, you come over to the house, you go in the bathroom, there's grounding mats. Living room.
Like hanging in the bathroom too.
And there's grounding mats everywhere around this place. And yeah, so it's you know, I try to stay as grounded as I possibly can. But it's, if you can get on the regular ground, I gotta believe that that's even better. So folks, you want to check that out. So promo code PERMA will get you 10% off. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna go to the good news right now. And sorry, y'all, my grandbaby's distracted me because she's such a little cutie. She misses grandpa. So yeah. I'm just like transfixed on her right now. But hey,
I can't believe how good she's doing right now. She's just chilling. I mean, she's slamming stuff, but she's chilling.
That's okay. She's the best little squeeze baby in the world. Anyway, so first good news. Doge, check this out, y'all. It's saving $1 billion daily. So what's our debt? It's in the trillions. Okay, I know you got to start somewhere. So you know what? I'll give credit where it's due. So Doge is saving $1 billion a day, and they just got started. And folks, the manhole covers that are being dropped on the heads of all these lunatics out there that are kicking and screaming. I'm like, yeah, keep them coming. But like I said, Elon, you want to do something really, really cool? Find out who's paying these. Okay, there's certain things they're not going to touch. And here's one right here. I decided, you know what? I got my version of Doge. I call it fraud, F-R-A-U-D. And this is one where Elon Musk is basically auditing the government. This one is meant to audit the Federal Reserve, and it stands for Fiat Reserve Artificially Unbacked Dollar. I'll say that again. The fraud department, Fiat Reserve Artificially Unbacked Dollar. That's exactly what we need right now, because if you think they're screwing us on the government level, folks, you don't even, there's a reason why. And by the way, Ron Paul, he'd be the one heading that up. People like Dr. Tom Woods. Yep. Tom Woods and a number of other people out there. So yeah, so Doge, yeah, you keep driving on the way you are, but let's get back to a good monetary policy. So let's end the Fed for real. let's get in there and audit them. And folks, if you think the screw job that's happening right now in your government's bad, you ain't seen nothing yet. We're basically paying these people to print our money, and they are screwing you. And nobody ever bothers to ask. If every country, for the most part, is in debt, and we have a balance sheet, right? Just logically think this out, folks. Here's how you know it's a screw job. If every single country is in debt, then to whom is it owed? Because if it's on a balance sheet, okay, if I owe you, you know, it's like a scale. You know, there's got to be a balance sheet. Well, the reason there's no balance sheet and the reason you can't see it and the reason why we can't audit the Fed is because they're printing this stuff out of thin air. If anybody knew the quadrillions, and yes, I said that right, quadrillions, the quadrillions, that's like 1,000 trillions that we're actually in debt with our unfunded liabilities, folks, it would make your head spin. And it's all coming out of the Federal Reserve. And then ask yourself, I won't get into this part, but ask yourself, who runs those banks that run the Federal Reserve? Yeah, might be some people we're not allowed to talk about on here. So,
yeah, we definitely can't talk about that, or else they're coming after us now. Anybody who speaks about anything about like who actually owns stuff is being brought to justice, so to speak.
Well, you know what? Send my mail to the county jail because I ain't shutting up. Look, the bottom line is, man, I would rather live with my she wants to talk.
Yeah, she wants to keep pressing this mute. She keeps pressing this mute button on the microphone.
She wants more Grandpop strawberries. That's what's up. Give her some more strawberries.
We're out. We ran out. I mean, we ran out in the room. I mean, we have more in the kitchen. But yeah, this is what happens when we run out of the strawberries or blueberries. She starts losing it.
Get some strawberries. I can handle this show, man. Go ahead and get her some strawberries.
All right, I'll be right back.
Yeah. Leave the baby. Take the cannolis.
I can't just leave the baby.
Yeah, that was a Godfather quote, but kind of anyway. Okay, so here's my second good news quote. Could Trump deploy the U.S. military against the Mexican cartels? Experts say it's possible, but risky. Well, I'd say that's a good thing. How is it? Okay, let's talk about this a couple of different ways. Okay, so here it is. I just provided a solution to where we could add the fraud department. Ron Paul heads it up. Okay, regarding these Mexican cartels, okay, first of all, let's find out where they're getting most of their money. And I guarantee if you look under the fingernails of everybody, you're going to find out that it's actually coming from the CIA. I mean, there have been reporter after reporter, some of them dead right now. The one in California, San Jose Gazette, I can't recall his name. They even made a movie about him. Jeremy Renner, I believe, played him. Doggone it. It's called Kill the Messenger. And I can't think of his name right now. His name just totally escapes me. But anyway, yeah, he got smokes for dropping, information about that stuff. So yeah, why don't we stop the CIA from allowing the drug cartels to bring it in, number one. And number two, you want to stop. Now we're talking about like gun runners and stuff like that. Now you want to go ahead and put the brakes on everybody else, impose $100,000 fine for every single employer that employs somebody that's here illegally. Yeah, I said that. Okay, this ain't that difficult. They would export themselves $100,000 for every employee caught employing somebody who is not supposed to be in this country legally. Gary Webb, thank you very much, Christy. That's exactly who I was talking about. So all you got to do, impose that kind of fine that's so far in orbit that if they get caught, they will export themselves. I mean, you could throw some prison fine on it. I don't care what you do, but at the end of the day, get loose or get lost, man. If you ain't here legally, you got to get on the first thing smoking. And I'm not being insensitive here. You know what? I'm all for immigrants coming here. I am not for illegal immigrants coming here. And don't tell me you can't find them. And I hate that argument like, oh, they're already here, or how are we going to find them? Okay, well, tell me this. How is it back in World War II, we were able to find all of the legal Japanese American citizens, put them in internment camps, which was illegal, send their loved ones off to fight, which, by the way, they turned out to be the most formidable forces between the Japanese forces and the, believe it or not, the all-black forces from like the 761st Armored Division, and it was under Patton. It was an all-black unit, and there were all Japanese units, some of the most decorated units in the history of American warfare. So, look, don't tell me you can't find them when somehow you were able to find all of the legal Japanese American citizens, put them in internment camps, which was just incredulous, really, send their loved ones off to fight. And meanwhile, you're telling me with all of our technological capabilities and prowess, we're not able to find a bunch of illegal people in plain sight in the United States of amnesia. You're not giving me that story. So you guys
I can show you a whole town here in Texas. I can show you a whole town.
You probably get half of them right from Lowe's, man, or Home Depot. I mean, yeah.
You go to Super Bueno over in Mount Pleasant, you can wipe out the whole store.
No,
you can fit your daily quota right there.
I mean, I'm being funny to a certain extent, but when you get down to brass tacks on this, look, man, these are not difficult problems to solve. They really aren't. Yeah, if you're a cartel member, they would dry up overnight if the CIA would quit working with the cartels. And like Christy said a minute ago, yes, it was Gary Webb, and of course they murdered him and everybody else that was a whistleblower at that time. But now America's ready to hear this stuff. So yeah, stop the CIA from working with the cartels. They will dry up overnight. Get the Mexicans, the Mexican government, which, by the way, the cartels are kind of running the Mexican government. So look, get the CIA out of the business, number one. And number two, put everybody else that ain't supposed to be here on the first thing smoking back to the country of origin. And don't tell me you can't find them. I had a bunch of vatos on my roof the other day, man. Not one of them could speak a word of English. And,
hey, just put Craigslist out for a discount Chevy and you'll catch them all. Just each local town put out a Craigslist ad. You'll get them all.
Bam. Yeah. Hey, I know that's politically incorrect, but hey, this is a permaculture Pimcast. Y'all get used to it. All
and
right,
it's true.
Well, there is that. I mean, yes, it is true. So story number 3, to get his vote, Senator Bill Cassidy demands Kennedy obey CDC's vaccine orthodoxy. You know why I'm calling that good news, son? Is because all of these prostitute senators are showing themselves, they're showing their cards right now. Because, I mean, they're like, oh, well, we don't want you to get rid of this. We don't want you to get rid of that. They are all showing their hand right now. And that's why I'm saying this is, I mean, Kennedy's taking a beating right now. And of course, he said a lot of things, especially in this hearing. I know folks are going to give him a mulligan on that and say, look, man, he's just telling them what they want to hear. But hey, man, at the end of the day, you're still lying, man. Just go in there and tell them, yeah, I am going to take a freaking wrecking ball to what? You know what? We're going to take a wrecking ball to the entire system because it's that doggone corrupt. You know, advertising on TV, there's only 2 countries on the planet that allow it. It's us and New Zealand. Direct advertising, I mean, this is just insane. I mean,
but even New Zealand, it's very, very, very regulated. It's nowhere near the crap that they do in the United States. That was actually, when I was living in Australia, that was one of the questions I got. There were 2 main questions that I would get, and the third one was about like pharmaceutical ads on TV and stuff. But the first one was, what's it like living in the United States with Trump? And I was like, I'm in Australia. I don't know. I don't know what's going on there. And then what was it like to have free access to guns? And both questions were almost like they were jealous.
Wow. Well, yeah. They may rethink the Trump question. Well, I mean, that remains to be seen. I don't know. I mean, I've seen things now that have given me some serious pause. Like I said, I'll give anybody a shot, but man, I'm hearing things and I'm seeing things that, yeah, he's dropping out a lot of good, but man, there's a whole lot of bad there, and people are unwilling to see or even talk about the bad. But I'm going to call it the way I see it. So, so far, we'll just sit here and hold it, keep our powder dry. But at the end of the day, Trump, do you think it's a little more important to stop the poison they're dropping from the sky than giving $500 billion to a bunch of oligarchs. In my list of hierarchy, yeah, you kind of missed it big. And in fact, I mean, y'all can say what you want, but look, I monitor this stuff every single day, and the chemtrails are worse under Trump than they were under Biden. So you can
Keep in mind, he hasn't denounced the jab at all. In fact, he has a since deleted tweet saying that the jab is his blood. So like that's hard to forget. There's still people suffering. There's still people dying from that jab.
Well, I don't think we've seen the half of it, son. I think
No.
I think before the dust clears. But folks, we've offered, and we can't talk about it now. But like I said, there's things like Cardio Miracle. I think we do have a discount code for them. You'll have to look in the show notes. I'm not entirely sure, but I haven't taken any of that stuff, and I take that stuff every single day, and it's good. I mean, you'd be shocked. I mean, if you go out for a run, let's say you run a mile and whatever, you drink some of that Cardio Miracle, man, it'll speed up your time like nothing you've ever seen before. It's kind of crazy how it works, but
it helped with jiu-jitsu too. Like the 1 or 2 times I took it before jiu-jitsu practice, it definitely helps with cardio.
It does in a massive way.
It's almost like cheating.
Yeah. Well, you know what? That's your unfair advantage, son. Nothing wrong with that. All right, y'all. Yeah. With that, we're going to go. We are, first of all, going to let the little grandbaby eat her little strawberries, and we're going to go to Eric's cider. I think. Apparently not. Well, your mom told me she put it in there, but apparently it isn't in there. So, son, I had you muted for a second. So I guess we're not going to go to Eric. Guess you didn't put it in, or I don't know what happened. Anyway, y'all, EMP Shield, $50 off with promo code PERMA. Look, things jump off. You want to get to the house. So that's what EMP Shield's there for, to make sure your car keeps running. And I've been meaning to reach out to them because a number of people were asking, because it's suspected that maybe the smart meters on the homes out in California could have also been a culprit for those fires. I mean, checking out the work of people like Deborah Tavares and a number of others, it looks as if, and man, I'm trying to get her on the show, but you can't even contact half these people. I don't even know how they even get on other interviews. But anyway, she's saying that a lot of these fires out there are caused by these these smart meters. Well, I don't have any direct knowledge of that, but I need to reach out to EMP Shield because I was told that will help mitigate whatever's coming off of there. So I don't know. I mean, I really don't know. So anyway, if anything blows up downstream from a lightning strike, you know what? They're going to cover you for 25 G's. And so that's exactly what I'm talking about. So $50 off with promo code PERMA at empshield.com. All right, so we're going to jump right into the main topic. All right, y'all.
Hey, real quick, Dad. Speaking of EMP Shield, they have that Midwest Preparedness Conference coming up in May. I'm going to be there. Joel Salatin's going to be there, stuff like that. In fact, I'm going to ask Joel Salatin some questions about what's going on with the whole USDA and all that type of stuff.
Well, the thing is that his involvement, I think, is contingent on Kennedy getting in there. Because I'm thinking he's working at the behest of Kennedy. So if he doesn't get the approval, I don't know if Joel's actually going to have a role there. But honestly, people are going to lose their minds. I mean, but you know what? Like I said, it's a good thing because all these senators are showing their hand. They're showing, I mean, you know what? If the president could do it, I would demand that up and down, and this is what Jesse Ventura recommended, that every single senator, congressperson, up and down every sleeve on all their business or pantsuits, whatever they're wearing, that they got to walk around like NASCAR drivers, and you show who owns your butt. And the more they giving you, the bigger the sign is you got to put on your suit. So they're showing. I mean, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, all the others. I mean, they're showing these limousine liberals. They're showing exactly which side their bread is buttered on. So I'm glad for that, but is anybody really paying attention? I'm not entirely sure because, as I predicted before, by and large, most people have gone right back into the matrix. Are you seeing it back there, Sam? I mean,
oh, absolutely. Especially here in Texas, like it's literally they're treating him as he is like literally Jesus. Israel is calling him their Messiah. Like it's like everybody's forgotten about It's crazy that we live in a world where we now agree with the blue-haired, purple-breathing Marchies on a topic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, when you look at all this stuff and you weigh it out, it's I I I don't care who you are, man. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And I just don't even know how you, and even Mike Adams kind of called him to task on this, where he was saying, look, man, how do you justifiably give $500 billion to a bunch of people that have already spent how many years suppressing us right here in the very platform we're on? How many years have they spent doing that? And you're going to turn back around and give them more money? Why don't we open source it and then give it to the people out there that are actually doing real work?
Or how
So
about we just stop giving away money if they ain't in the United States? Like, let's just if you're not a citizen in the United States, there's a moratorium on donating money outside of the United States until we get the United States squared away.
until there is not a single veteran sleeping on the freaking streets, there is no, I mean, man, y'all are lucky I ain't running things, because I'd be signing things. I'd be signing things all through the night. Like I said, as long as there's a single veteran or an American citizen or a retired person, as long as these people are struggling, we give 0 dimes to anybody outside of that. That's exactly. And, you know, the people are going on like, oh, we got rid of foreign aid. No, we didn't. There's 2 countries still getting it. Egypt's one of them. Son, do you want to take a wild guess who the other one is?
Might be Israel.
How about that? Yeah. Nobody. And I'm waiting to see. I'm going to blow up. You give $2 billion. I can't wait to see what the next allocation is going to be. You gave $2 billion to North Carolina. And, well, first of all, like I said, let's redirect all that money we're using to spray from these planes up here and redirect it back into the pockets of the people you're stealing it from. We are paying taxes to be poisoned. And that's exactly, and folks, I know I sound like a broken record on this, but seriously, like Dane Wigington always says when he comes on the show, I don't know if, in fact, Dane called me up. I mean, it seemed rather urgent. I need to call him back. I don't know if this is the easiest way to move the needle on the bloodletting. This is the easiest way to do it. Stop dropping poison on my grandbaby. That's what I mean. And honestly, that's why I'm so furious about this. And, you know, you get the main, you know, everybody's out there. Oh, yeah. Well, what can I do about it? And then that's their license to, you know, drop out. Well, what can you do about the Super Bowl? But you're going to watch it. I mean, well, I won't be watching it, but they will. Anyway, let's get into the main topic here. So, name of this show is going to be Lithium Rich. What's happening in the Carolinas? All right, y'all. I got to tell you about a little trip I took yesterday, and I just did a short on YouTube about it. And I got an interview with a guy out there. In fact, son, I was at the very location in Swannanoa where Trump was. And strangely enough, they wouldn't let anybody from this community. Yeah, folks, I'm going to stomp on your sacred cow a little bit longer. So when Trump was out there in Swannanoa, they brought in a bunch of people from other communities around here, not from Swannanoa. They didn't have anybody living in that place that were actually there. When he brought them up to the podium and the whole 9 yards, they didn't allow anybody from that community to approach the mic. And when you listen to the guy that I'm going to post tomorrow on YouTube, folks, he's a preacher. When you hear what he has to say, you're going to realize why they wouldn't let anybody talk on that mic. Look, Michelle and I went out there day before yesterday, and we were with Christopher Key from the Christopher Key Show. And he's out there trying to buy land so he can put up a bunch of tiny houses and put people in them. Well, he had a deal all worked out. And then all of a sudden, the landowner comes back and says, can't sell it to you. And he's asking, well, why? Well, he won't tell him. Well, probably some big money and interest, probably BlackRock, State Street, Vanguard, who even knows, came in and they're like, they put the brakes on it. So this guy's probably going to sell for maybe double the price. And they're going to acquire this ground. Okay. So that's bad enough. But folks, I am telling you, I cannot. Your mom said it literally looks like the storm came through yesterday. There is not anything cleaned up. There's not anything picked up. It looks like somebody shot cannonballs through these businesses all up and down that river. People are living in tents, living in complete squalor, no running water for the most part, having to use porta potties that are probably plumb full half the time, and living through some nasty weather, the whole 9 yards, and they still ain't going anywhere. Well, folks, there's a little phenomenon going on, and if you go to my Twitter account, and I suggest you do, because I don't, for some reason, this one, a lot of people didn't see it. Maybe Twitter blocked it. I don't know. Like I said, Twitter's not the free speech place you thought it was. But anyway, if you go there, I put up a post that shows the, son, I'm just going to mute your mic for a minute. I put up a Twitter post that shows what the fire danger map looks like here in North Carolina. Okay. Now, let me preface all what I'm about to say is that a few days ago, I spoke to a reporter who's also a whistleblower. And this reporter told me, well, I almost gave up the name there, who I'm not going to name right now, has access to chemtrail data and a number of things, basically where they are intentionally doing things to keep this place dry. Okay. Even though if you look on that map that I posted on Twitter, everything else is either green, which is low fire danger, or it's moderate. But in almost the same exact path that storm took, take a look at those colors. It's yellow. We had a big storm the other day, or what was it? 200 acres that got burned the other day down near Bat Cave. And William was here a little while ago, and you were talking about, I'm going to unmute your mic again, son. And you were talking about what you had envisioned, or why don't you describe that for everybody?
So it was after my first trip in North Carolina, and I was driving to my parents after the first disaster relief trip. I was driving to my parents, and I can't remember if it was a dream or like this, you know how like you have a daydream and you see something that's not there, and it's like a vision almost. But it was the mountains on fire, and it wasn't any particular mountains, like any specific mountains. It was just like this picture of the mountains on fire. And after that, I drove to your guys' house before I was leaving. And hold on, sorry about that. What's going on, sweetie? I was driving to your guys' house, and I had told you, I was like, hey, I think the next thing that's going to happen is a wildfire, because I don't think they're getting the exact response that they're wanting or the response that they were expecting. I don't think the powers that be, or the powers that shouldn't be, I don't think they expected everybody to pull together and help each other. Sorry, June is on she is just talking like crazy. But yeah, I don't think they got the response that they actually wanted. I don't think they expected anybody to come in and help, especially from out of state. And yeah, so I just had this vision of like the mountains on fire. And then I saw that one in Batcave, and I was like, oh crap, might actually be happening. And now there's this map of there's this map of fire danger in North Carolina. Is it coincidental that the highest fire danger in North Carolina is also in the wettest part of North Carolina? It's a temperate rainforest.
How about that? Yeah. So I'm gonna mute you again, son. So anyway, with that backdrop, y'all, we live in a temperate rainforest. Water comes easy in a place like this. And when I say easy, I'm talking like, it's crazy. A temperate rainforest. And like William said, if you look at the map, if you look at that map that I posted on Twitter, all that yellow where it's high fire danger, that just happens to be in the very spot of a temperate rainforest. So how on earth is that high fire danger, and all the lower places, which aren't temperate rainforests, are absolutely moderate? So I know there have been overtures, and Michelle had mentioned something about she keeps getting these posts, these news stories posted like, oh, wildfires can just happen anywhere in unexpected places. So they're already setting out the overtures over there, because honestly, I was in Swannanoa, And I'm looking around and I'm like, this is unconscionable. I cannot even believe that the needle has not moved at all. Folks, that's not the only place around here. I can take you to places where there are mountains of junk 12 feet high over and over and over again. I mean, this is the craziest thing. And meanwhile, nobody over there is selling. And in fact, they've dug in even more. They're like, no, I don't care if I have to live in this pup tent for the rest of my life. And that's where a lot of them are living. They're like, I'm not moving off this land. I don't care what happens. So they're already setting the stage, folks. I'm putting it out there because honestly, with the hopes that if I put it out there and a number of other people kind of echo it, it kind of poo-poos their plans. Because I honestly think that's what's going to happen. But I got to be honest with you. There's a number of people just still they are just falling asleep or definitely asleep and have no intention of waking up. They don't want to wake up. No amount of evidence can shatter a faith consciously based on a lie. That was a sharp.
I would say there's more people that are aware of the nefarious stuff going on in North Carolina than there are people in North Carolina that are aware of the nefarious things going on.
Excellent point, John. That's exactly what I'm talking about, is that by and large, and it's always that way. I mean, the people here will not believe. We put out those reports. We had Bear Independent on, we had Dr. Will, and we had our engineers from the other side of the state, all verifying that the land and the water is absolutely positively polluted. Nobody locally wants to believe it. They still got their kids down there playing in this stuff. I'm just floored when I see it. But you'll believe the media, who's been lying to you over and over and over again. They tell you, oh, it's all clear. Everything's just fine. And people will just eat that right up. So when I was having this existential moment that I was talking about at the top of the show, folks, I'm not lying to you. I mean, it's getting to the point of frustration where I'm like, okay, why am I even trying? What am I doing this for? Why do I even care? I mean, these people don't even care. But then you have that, you'll come across that one person, like I said, that guy that I met yesterday that will change your whole paradigm when you hear the passion in his voice. And you hear, I mean, this guy knows his stuff. And like I said, he's a preacher and, not your garden variety. He's not your Joel Osteen, give me a pep talk kind of preacher. This dude is dropping tactical nukes of information of what absolutely happened in this community and how when Trump showed up, they were all trying to get over to the mic because they were going to have like open mic and President Trump is there. They were going to tell him what's up. Well, they vetted all these other people and brought them in. And they knew doggone well these people they knew exactly what they were going to say and what they were going to talk about. But anybody that had any possibility of bringing up anything dealing with a weather weapon, they weren't letting them anywhere. They weren't even though they were at like 100 yards from where Trump actually was, they wouldn't even let them in the crowd. Okay. So if you think Trump doesn't know about this stuff, folks, I mean, he has access to the sky. In fact, they were spraying the very day he showed up. Okay. So don't give me that stuff. So anyway, folks, what I'm saying is everybody is gone. And I don't know. I predicted this before we even had the election. I said, watch what happens. Soon, if Trump gets elected, you're going to see people go right back into the matrix. And boy, did they go back in the matrix. And no amount of evidence can shatter their faith consciously based on a lie. That's exactly what you see unfolding right now. And it's getting crazier and crazier and crazier. And yeah, he'll throw out a couple of things here, and then he'll do something that's like, what? This makes no sense at all. And like I said, I mean, if you want to move the needle, yeah, it's good that we got Doge, but hey, like I said, the office that we ought to have is fraud. I mean, if you want to really move the needle, find out what's happening at the Federal Reserve. That's where you're going to find out where 99% of all the malfeasance is happening. Find out what's happening in the at the Pentagon. Remember back with Rumsfeld, I can't imagine what the number is now. The day before 9/11, $2.3 trillion they had no accounting for. Where do you think that number is now? So let's find out where all this stuff is going. Hey, you want to audit something? How about auditing the black budget? Never heard of that, folks? Go look it up. We actually have a black budget. It's probably where all the chemtrail money's coming from, by the way. But yeah, these things, folks, I know you have a tendency. I know you went through a living hell under Biden. All of us did. I mean, the guy was a walking nincompoop. Don't get me wrong. But folks, just be sure that they didn't move the Overton window so far to the left that when Trump gets in and then they keep moving that Overton window, that all of a sudden you're thinking, oh, party, good times are here again. I'm going back into the Matrix. That's exactly what's happening, folks. But I'm telling you what, it ain't over. I really don't think it's over with. You got Albemarle and all the other mining interests around here that are doing everything they can to try to get these people off their land. They're spraying them like cockroaches over there, and they're spraying us too. And from what I'm hearing, they're spraying basically the whole region. But like I said, like William said a minute ago, how is it the temperate rainforest that I live in is the most fire-prone place on the map right now? How is that even possible? When we're
And one thing, and on that point, is that all that debris is still there. That's all a fire danger, especially if it's been dry out there, stuff like that. Like all of that is now just going to burn. I mean, that's one of the biggest things you can do in a forest to prevent wildfires is to clear out some of the overstacked brush and stuff like that. Like if you have green vegetation, it won't burn. But if you have dead, dried out vegetation or stuff that's just, hasn't been managed, that stuff will burn.
Or check out the work of like Dane Wigington or like what not just Dane Wigington, but Deborah Tavares, where part of what they're dropping from the sky is an accelerant, okay? So, look, when I was back in the Army, y'all, we used to make this stuff called thermite. I won't give you the recipe for it because they'd probably throw me in jail for it. But basically, this stuff burns very, very, very hot. Well, I won't tell you what the recipe is, but I'll tell you the components. It's basically ferric oxide and aluminum powder. What do you think they're dropping from the sky? This stuff is an accelerant. And that's exactly what happened in places, well, like the Paradise Fire. I mean, they were using space-based weapons and a number of other things out there. But honestly, when they're dropping this crap from the sky and they're putting it over here, all of a sudden you get a spark going, and they're using these directed energy weapons, which they have. And like I said before, they used them on 9/11. And they've used them in a number of other places, and they all have a telltale sign. You're not going to tell me, hey, son, what happens when you have a house burning 5 feet away from a freaking tree? And correct me if I'm wrong, but that stressed out tree in a fire is going to lose its fruit, lose its leaves, and then lose the tree in that order. Well, that didn't happen in California. That didn't happen. There was a girl picking oranges off a tree, she said, was 5 feet from her house. Even the rock was melted. So, folks, I ain't so sure that ain't what's about to be unfolding right here in Western North Carolina. They're keeping it intentionally dry around here. Number one. Number two, some of this stuff they're dropping from the sky, according to the work of Deborah Tavares from StopTheCrime.net, is basically an accelerant. And then if they use their directed energy weapons, who even knows? So, folks, I'm putting this out here. I wanted to do this video to let you all know, first of all, spread it far and wide and take this information, because if all of a sudden fires start going on around here, you know the reason why. Because like I said, these old boys ain't going anywhere. You're going to have to burn them out. And like William said from the very beginning, you suspected that from the word go.
Yeah, I don't think I don't think it was as big of even though it's an absolute nightmare out there, I don't think they had the response that they were expecting. I think they expected a lot of people to just quit and give up. And then I think they were also counting on like nobody going out there to help, especially when they weren't like talking about it on the news. We heard information every single day about the fires going on in California. Like North Carolina is still a disaster zone, and there's not a word about it. And if there is a word about it, it's very, very censored. Like I was listening to Stu Peters, for example. I was listening to him, and he had a reporter on there that was talking about what's going on in North Carolina, and they didn't mention anything about the dirty soil.
Yeah, well, in their case, I mean, I don't know that they're even aware of what that might look like. And as far as some of these reporters out there, they're trying to get one angle of the story out there, but they don't know the full extent of it. And I got people trying to connect me up with Stu Peters and maybe a number of others, but also finding out in this space that a lot of people say they're going to do some stuff, but they never actually do it. So I'm not holding my breath. But look, I'm hoping that everybody else out here, I'm letting you know right now what looks like, what appears to be the battle plan here. Because, like I said, Trump dropped $2 billion here. Well, it hasn't moved the needle at all. The state hasn't dropped anything. The fact that Swannanoa looks like it does right now is an embarrassment to the entire doggone country. I mean, this was a place, I mean, folks, this whole region is a place where people would go for vacations. Okay? This is where people go because it's that doggone beautiful around here. It's just a wonder. It was a beautiful place to live. And they are turning that place into a complete wreck because they want what's in the ground underneath there, folks. So that's exactly why I wanted to do this program. And then, honestly, it's no accident that in South Carolina, northern of the north side of South Carolina, they built all of these lithium plants right before all this happened. Huh? Seemed like a coincidence? Seemed like a lot of coincidences to you? So they built a bunch of lithium plants up there. I think 5, as a matter of fact, all got permits, all started building. Long before a year, in fact, before a year to a year and a half before the actual engineered hurricane made its way through. So I'm done believing in coincidences, folks. And I'm not going to sit here and go quietly into that good night. I am going to fight. I'm going to let everybody know about what's going on here. So when it does happen, if it does happen, or if enough of us are talking about it, they're thinking, oh, shucks, they got us on that one. It'd be like a Scooby-Doo cartoon, you know? Oh, you blasted kids or whatever. Son, you were going to say something?
Yeah, Christy commented that she can get you in contact with Deborah Tavares if you want to for the podcast.
Yeah, I'd love to. On her website, there's no way. But she's not the only one. You go to their websites to a lot of these folks, and they have no way to contact them to say, hey, you want to tell everybody what's going on? So if you have a way to get a hold of Deborah Tavares, I mean, by all means, please let me know. Billy@permapastorsfarm.com, because there was something of an email there, but I had no means. I was like, okay, I sent an email, but they've been playing with our email. They've been doing all kinds of stuff, playing with our business, folks. I mean, we're being attacked 30 ways to Sunday, even on an operation like this, y'all. You would not believe the attacks that unfold, and the hellhounds they put on your trail. But my God's bigger than theirs. So that's exactly
literally hellhounds, not figuratively, but literally.
Yeah. I mean, these people are literal hellhounds. So, yeah, my grandbaby's got to get her two words in there.
She's reading the zoo book to me.
Well, I mean, she loves her little books. Yep. So, folks, I mean, the bottom line to all this is we're not out of the woods yet. We're not even close. I mean, like I said, if we were, you would see the bloodletting stop in the form of chemtrails. But like I said, they're worse now under Trump than they were under Biden. And don't tell me I don't know what I'm talking about, folks. I've been awake on this topic for a whole lot of years. And like I said, I'm a farmer. I look at the weather every single day. They are worse now than they've ever been. And it doesn't seem no accident they kept everybody that might have asked any questions regarding any of that away from the microphone. So, is Trump in on it? I mean, it's a logical question. I mean, it is a seriously legit question to ask, because honestly, at this point, I'm not buying this ignorance or his people are keeping him in the dark. No. He can look up just like I can. And he's older than I am, so I'm not believing that he can't see it. So, William, is there anything else you want to
add? Not really. I mean, I think we beat this to death. yeah, I think we got but also, okay, one thing I'll add is that, okay, if Trump does bring good times, which is a possibility, if he does bring good times, use these good times to prepare for bad times. Like, a lot of people just quit when a Republican is in office and then restart whenever Democrat comes back. Just use the good times or perceived good times to get ready.
Been saying it for 25 years, y'all. Well, hey, I want to thank everybody for checking us out tonight. And like I said, I'll keep trying to post on X. I mean, I know we're live on Rumble and YouTube, and it seems like every live we do, they demonetize it. Huh? I wonder why. So yeah, things aren't loosening up the way they're telling you. And if they do, I will definitely let you know. But it's definitely, happy times aren't here yet. So folks, you got to stay alert, stay alive. I don't know what's going on.
Bye-bye.